All right, here we go. This is part 2 of my random in between. I had to do an extra trip today, which gives me a trip to and a trip back from. And I was like, let's put on the camera and fire up the old video maker so I can get myself that much further ahead of my uploads for this year. Get myself done with the uploads for this year so I can move on to what's going on next year. I was going to do this lifestyle, personal growth channel next year, but the Life is Strange content seems to be getting more attention. I've even had people come up to me and ask ask when I'm going to get back to like posting Life is Strange content. So I might go back the route of story-based games. That's where this channel kind of originally started, and this entire year I kind of have gotten away from that. I tried to do something else and it didn't work so well, so I think I'll get back to it. It was kind of fun, honestly. It was like riding a bicycle when I got back into it, and I was like, I can put together a pretty good video on Life is Strange, do these video essays and character studies and all these fun things, and I do enjoy doing it, so it's not like it's a chore. I just don't feel like it's the most successful of niches when it comes to niches on YouTube, and I hate to do it only because I'm trying to make money, but I have to be realistic with everyone, and money makes the world go round. And so it's not, where am I going with this? It's not very likely that I will ever, not be concerned about making money on that platform. I would like to be in a place where I don't have to worry about money. But if I'm being honest with myself, if I ever get to that place, then I probably won't be on YouTube anymore. Like, my goal is to no longer have to work for a living, and in some degree, YouTube feels like work. And I might continue to make videos that I just enjoy and think are fun, but as far as YouTube is concerned as a career path, once I reach that goal and I no longer have to have a day job, I probably won't be doing a whole lot on YouTube, unless YouTube is the thing that is pulling me out of the need for a day job. Like, if I don't need a day job anymore because I'm on YouTube, then I'm going to double down on that and really bring that home. But if I no longer need a job because I sold a script for $200,000, then I'll be doing that instead. It's interesting to think about, because that was my dream for the longest time. Is like, I can just sell a script for $200K and then I could live off of that. I could also sell a script for $200K and then buy a home outright and rent it out. And it's like, which one of those things would be more beneficial for me? I think the home buy would be more beneficial, because if I do that enough times, then I can eventually, when I actually want to retire, I could sell off my entire home, all of my real estates, and I would be able to get a nice chunk of change out of it and move on with my life, because real estate is one of the few things that does tend to go up in value. Even if the house is comparatively falling apart, you're not gonna, if you wait 10 years, you buy a house for $100,000, you wait 10 years, you're not gonna sell it for $100,000, you're gonna sell it for $200,000 or whatever, because inflation's a thing. And so if I ever were to get mega successful and start ranking in the big bucks, that's what I would do with it. And I would like to be able to balance having both jobs long enough to be able to do that. Like if I could get my hands on a couple of properties, probably only need like, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them, and then I could live off of that. But I want to do everything on my terms. I don't want to be strapped in debt to all of these properties. I want to be able to just afford them and then rent them out and then keep doing that. Because I also want to be a decent human being at the end of the day and give people rent-free Decembers or whatever, because I can. Like, the problem we have right now with the housing market being so expensive is because a lot of people out there owning homes can't actually afford the homes that they own. And so in order to be able to afford it, they have to charge you, the occupant, what they're paying for the home and then some. And now we've effectively flipped our housing market upside down, and people are wondering why it's so expensive to get in a house or to rent. And that's why. It's because someone, somewhere, 2008-ish time, convinced the world that real estate was a good get-rich-quick scheme. And although it may have been in 2008 because of the recession, it is not anymore. And now that everyone and their grandma has gone in and gobbled up all the properties that they can, we're now in a place now where we can't really afford to have a home. Like, you can't afford to buy a home because they are so expensive. You can't afford to rent because it's so expensive. And all of these expenses are so high because people who previously couldn't afford things were buying things hoping that someone else would pay for it for them. Because that's what essentially happens when you buy a property and rent it out, is you're hoping that somebody makes your payments for you. But the other thing is, like, making your payments is one thing. They always want to make a profit on top of it, which is smart business, but not smart business if, say, for example, you buy a property and it costs you $750 a month. That's a pretty standard mortgage payment, I think. And then you want to rent this property out and you want to make some money. So if you bump that by $200, say you're making $200 in profit, that's $950. Well, you ought as well just round up to $1,000 at that point, and then you're making $250. And that is how rent has gotten so high, is it has just perpetually gone up as people who can't afford as people who can't afford homes continue to buy homes and rent them out. But that's why my methodology would be, when I can afford to buy a house, mostly, and have it paid for in full, I will do that. And then I will rent it out. And then everything that I'm making off of it is straight profit, and I don't have to charge people $1,001 a month to live. And it's a win-win for everybody. And hopefully I can make steps to do that and to alleviate the stress of living that so many of us face. And there's no telling what will become of it and what the future has in store for me, us, them, anybody. I hope to live a life where I can live off of my own creative endeavors, but who knows? I could have a great many years ahead of me, and living those great many years out as a creative individual might not be sustainable. Although it might be sustainable, it might not be. You never know. I certainly won't do anything drastic or make any big moves until I feel comfortable enough to be able to do so. But it's certainly will always be an interesting thing to explore. And that is the goal. Financial freedom. I don't need wealth beyond wealth. And I've built myself up such a low cost of living that I really don't need wealth beyond wealth to be able to just survive and make it. But the hope would be if I could survive and make it off of my creative endeavors, how awesome would that be? To be able to live my life to my fullest potential and not really have to worry about anything. 45 is my retirement goal right now, or at least I will take on a less intrusive job by that time. And we'll see. This person doesn't know how to park. That's why this parking spot is open. I could probably make it in there if I really wanted to, but I'm going to see what else is available. I think my parking spot that I vacated has since been taken, which stinks. I had a good spot, but I kind of knew that was going to happen. That is par for the course when you leave this parking structure in the middle of the day. But I just saw, ooh, is that a spot? Is that a spot that I spot? I do believe this is a spot that I spot, and I am going to take it. At any rate, it has been bonus video number 2. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope it was a good conversation for you, and I'll catch you on the next one.